Tri-City Radio, 98.7 CKPM FM. Passengers, scare away the dark, scare away the rain. City Councillor Bonita Zarillo is here. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. Thank you for inviting me down.
Well, you actually bought me in an auction. Well, you didn't buy me. You bought the co-host position, so it was kind of fun. You helped Variety, the children's charity, and I'm quite excited to have you here. You've got a little bit of a story to tell. We'll go through that as the morning progresses. We're going to talk. Here's some things I'd like to talk to you about. The trees, because you had a question recently about trees being cut down in the park, right? So we can maybe touch on that a bit. Dogs off leash. Talk about that one.
No, really?
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Okay,
I think we should, because I'm not going to rag on them. I'm just, your thoughts on that, because it's a serious issue. Everybody. Let's start right now, because people think their dog is perfect, and their dog is perfect because it's their dog. But you never know how another dog is going to act around your dog or another person. You can never guarantee that 100%. And there's some people who, this all came about when I was over in Gates Park in Port Coquitlam. My little guy and I were kicking the soccer ball around. My kid's drink was sitting by the goalpost. This dog comes up, off leash, sniffs it, pees on it.
Crazy. I
know, and then I yell and I throw the soccer ball at the dog to get it out of there, right? And, not intending to harm the dog, and I didn't. And I yell at the owner, says, "Hey, your dog just peed on my kid's drink." And she looked at me and took her dog, put her on her leash, put her nose up in the air, and walked away. And then you had an incident, you were at Mundy Park?
Yes, Mundy Park.
What happened?
So my dog's pretty small. He's only about not even 5 pounds. And he's been... I don't want to say bit, but mauled a few times, a couple of visits to the vet. It's soft tissue damage. But anyway, so I'm pretty careful with him. But we've done a great job. The city of Coquitlam's done a great job at Mundy Park recently to get people to keep their dogs on leash. But this one was off and came running towards the dog. And of course I did that and grabbed my dog, and the lady said, "Don't do that. Don't. That's going to upset the dog." And I was thinking, well, I can't help it. And I guess that's one of the things that people that are afraid of dogs or nervous of dogs are not able to.
But you shouldn't have to worry about that. You should feel safe, because I know that I tell my kid, if there's a dog, you always ask the owner if it's okay, and then you come in under the dog's nose, let the dog sniff you, and then you can pet it. People think that their dog is perfect, and for that lady to tell you that is totally wrong. She should have been the one to say, "Hey, get back here," and then come up and talk to you. And what do we do about things like that?
Well, I think one of the solutions that the city has come up with is to have an area exclusively for people on off-leash dogs, because I think off-leash, it is something the city needs. We need to have a nice space for dogs to be able to be off-leash, and so I think the city has come up with a good solution, especially at Mundy Park, where there'll be a separate area for the off-leash, and if you don't want to see off-leash dogs, you can stay away from that loop.
Can we get a separate section for off-leash people, too?
I'm not sure.
Councillor Bonita Zarillo is here. I'm going to get her to do the weather. I've got to write it out for her, but right now it's wet out there, and it's going to be wet all day, and it's going to be wet for a while, and windy, too. We got some of her favorite songs coming up, and we'll kick it off with, I don't know, what do you want to hear next? What's the first one that pops into your head?
The Sheila E. one.
Okay, Sheila E. is coming up next.
The Share Society presents a match. Coquitlam Express Auto Body.
Good morning. It's 7:12 on a soggy Tuesday morning. City Councillor Bonita Zarillo is here. Sheila E., The Glamorous Life. What is your first memory of this song?
For some reason, I just remember, Prince. Obviously, Prince was the big advocate. And for some reason, I just remember it being like a revelation that this young artist was going to be lifted up by Prince. I just thought that was the coolest thing.
That's neat. Well, here's Sheila E., Glamorous Life at 7:12 on a soggy Tuesday. At Sheila E., The Glamorous Life, Ms. Glamorous, Bonita Zarillo is here. Being glamorous and being born in Saskatoon, that's a fun one, because you can't be glamorous in winter there, can you?
Definitely not. And actually, I think I still have 2 fingers and a couple of toes that go white every time they go cold from the frostbite.
And you think about that, being born in the prairies, trick-or-treating when you were a kid, you had to make sure your Halloween costume fit over your snowsuit.
And, there's a lot of tears around Halloween costumes because you needed to put your coat on.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't big enough to go on the top of your coat, your parents made you put your coat over your costume.
And for those of you that have never had the luxury of being in the prairies in the wintertime, it's a nice cold. I mean, on a beautiful sunny day when there's no wind, it's absolutely beautiful. You can go out with a short sleeve shirt on and survive. But once that wind chill kicks in, there is no return. It's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And
it is. I think as a kid you don't notice it as much, but it's bad. I can remember walking to a friend's house, 4 alleys wide, 4 lanes I'd have to go through. And the snow would be like 3 feet high, and you just keep on going.
Exactly. Bonita Zarillo is here, City Councillor, Coquitlam. She's spending the morning with us, playing some of her favorite songs. Here's a new one, not one of her favorites, but it's one we play. It's Jay Young, a Vancouver dude. This is Sexy Dress, Tri-City Radio. Tri-City Radio 98.7 CKPM FM. That's Jay Young, Sexy Dress, Vancouver dude with his second song. I think the other one we played was Oxygen. It's Rod Macbeth, City Councillor, Coquitlam City Councillor. Bonita Zarillo is here. Good morning.
Good morning.
You usually get out of bed, about this time, and now you're here, and you had to get up early, and yeah.
Yes, morning came early this morning.
So who fights between the washroom, you and Carlo, or do you have freedom and then he just gets up later?
Well, this morning I was up first, so I had the space, and then he was getting ready when I left. But usually he's long gone before I even wake up. So.
He's a busy guy. I mean, he's on like Chilliwack, and then he's on Mars, and then he's over in Port Moody. How do you guys handle your busy life? Because you have a daughter as well, correct?
Yeah.
And you're busy, and he's busy. So how do you guys handle it? When do you guys meet? Just sort of say hi in the hall, and that's it?
Some weeks it's definitely like that.
Mm-hmm.
And but I have to say, I think that is one of the barriers of doing public office for families, is that the kids need to be a certain age. They really do.
Yeah, exactly. You have a passion for community and a passion for life in general. What's your biggest, passion right now? What are you working towards?
Well, I guess one of the things that there's two. Youth. I'd like to see some help for our youth. There's a lot of mental health issues right now and a lot of pressure on our youth. I got some young kids as well. And the other one is just the whole gender conversation. I'm interested in the whole gender conversation. So
now, with the gender conversation, see, that always interests me, but I grew up where it's the best person for the job. Then in the 80s, it got to be we have to promote females because there's not enough females. So all of a sudden, the gender thing is not an issue because we're being told what to do. But when does it get to a point where we stop worrying about promoting people because of their gender, or even the Oscars? Look at, there's not enough black people nominated. Well, then maybe there was one good film last year, and that might have been Straight Outta Compton. Why should people be promoted or nominated on their race or their sex?
Yeah, it's a difficult conversation. But I think the data shows that, unfortunately, you kind of have to call it out, and sometimes quotas are necessary, just because historically certain groups have been marginalized or haven't had the same access. So I guess it's about making the access equal, and if we make the access equal, then I think eventually it'll come where it doesn't matter. But at this point in time, the access is not equal.
Okay, that sounds perfect. You're going to do our weather?
Am I? Okay.
Yeah, you're our weather person today.
Well, those in their car might not be as surprised to find out it's raining today. Yes. It's actually raining. So the Tri-City weather is rainfall in effect probably for the whole day. Is that right?
Yes.
Did you tell me how many millimeters?
50 millimeters of rain. That's about 2 inches for those of you that are born in the 50s.
There you go. So we're looking at about 2 inches of rain. Highs today, 9, and it's 5 right now. So take your umbrella before you head out today.
4,000 athletes are coming for newhome.com.
So City Councillor Bonita Zarillo is here. You had a yellow Datsun growing up.
Yeah, well, yes. Well, it wasn't mine.
Oh,
it was actually a friend of mine's. I know I I texted you and said it was mine.
Okay.
For the ease of the text. But it's actually a friend of mine.
Friend of yours, yellow Datsun,
Yes.
and I'm thinking the way you described it is a 240Z. So that's kind of the sporty car, and there was
You could fit 15 people in there, though. You could. You piled them up on the back.
You could fit 15 people in a Volkswagen easily too. So, their 8-track tape, not showing your age, it's just this person couldn't afford to get into the 80s technology, so they had an 8-track tape in there, and there was one song in particular that came to mind. What was that?
Yeah, it was the Boston, More Than a Feeling, yeah. Listen to that over and over and over again.
But it was such an amazing song, amazing album. I was talking to Brad from the Giggle Dam, and they have a music guy, a keyboardist, I believe, that does music with kids, music therapy with kids. And they were doing a show, and they said, hey, we want to do this song. Can you please learn it? And this young guy had never heard of Boston before, and all of a sudden, he's hooked on Boston now.
Of course.
Yeah, this is More Than a Feeling. Good morning. That's a soggy one. Tri-City Radio, 98.7 CKPM FM. Some Datsun 240Z memories from Councillor Bonita Zarillo, City Councillor. It was one of my favorite albums. That came out in the late 70s, and it's still a classic to this day. Do you find yourself clicking through the radio and hearing that every now and then just dancing around in your Tom Cruise type way?
No, I rarely hear that on the radio. That's why I asked you to play it today. That
Really?
was amazing. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. We have Throwback Thursday. You hear songs like that and other songs. You're with us until about 9 o'clock this morning. You bought me at an auction. Well, you bought the co-host position at an auction, and thank you for supporting Variety, the children's charity. Here's City and Keller. Love Her Come Back, Tri-City Radio. Tri-City Radio, 98.7 CKPM FM. That's City and Keller. Love Her Come Back. It's 7:36. Good morning. It's Rod Macbeth. Coquitlam City Councillor Bonita Zarillo is here. You and your lovely husband, we call him Carlo, and his best friends call him Carlos. Now, it's
And
funny.
sometimes I call him Carla.
Carla the Conqueror. That's where did you guys meet?
Edmonton,
Wow.
actually. Yeah, we were both working for the same company out in Edmonton.
What kind of work were you guys doing out there?
We were both reps at the time, and we worked for Cadbury Chocolate. He used to have the territory north of Edmonton, and I had the territory west of Edmonton.
West of Edmonton. That means you had to go out to Edson and
Edson and Hinton, absolutely.
Wow. And was it like love at first sight, or did he sort of like have to keep on courting you to get you to like him? I mean, he's a likable guy, right?
Yeah, I don't think it was love at first sight, actually. No, it was not.
I know he was.
It was competitive at first sight.
He was smitten. So you guys started in Edmonton, and then where did you go to?
Calgary.
Calgary. Yeah, that's good.
He got transferred down to Calgary to run the key accounts, and he convinced the boss that he should get me to come down there too. So that's kind of how it happened.
That's nice. And then you ended up eventually settling here in the Tri-Cities. What is it that is likable about the Tri-Cities? I know I have my own thoughts, but what do you guys like about the Tri-Cities?
Well, I've been traveling across Canada for about 15 years. Every couple of years, we would get transferred. So I've been all around Canada. And when we came to Coquitlam, it was so welcoming and so easy to get involved with the community. And I have to say, I rarely leave the Tri-Cities. I rarely have any reason to go outside of the Tri-Cities.
But that's it. Like, we're our own little community in here, and there's really not anything like it. It's a big city because we've got like 400,000 people in the Tri-Cities thereabouts, right? And you don't need to go. Everybody's so nice, and it's a big city feel, a small town feel with a big city.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everything's here, and you find little pockets of businesses and people that have wide scope, and it's all happening right here in the Tri-Cities.
It is indeed. You be part of the. I wish I could talk. Part of the deal here with you coming in is being the weather person as well. So let our people know what's going to happen today.
You bet. Well, you may not be surprised to know it is raining today. What is it? In like a lion, out like a lamb. Let's say this is going to be the worst that it is for March.
I forgot about that saying. Right, March 1st, in like a lion, out like a lamb. Good.
There you go. So it's raining today. Lots of rain. How much rain were you saying we might get?
50 millimeters.
Right. So Expect rain, take an umbrella. Highs of 9 today. It's about 5. Is it still 5?
It's still 5.
Okay.
And it's soggy.
The Tri-Cities Community Calendar, brought to you by the Tri-City News.
0.7 CKPM FM.
Good morning. It is a soggy Tuesday. Oh, we don't want to do that just yet. City Councillor Bonita Zarillo is here. She bought us at an auction. Her chance to, be a co-host on the radio for a morning, and you pick some songs. Eurythmics, Annie Lennox. What's it about this song?
Well, I was a Eurythmics fan during this time when everyone was listening to AC/DC and Foreigner and what is that song? But anyway, a lot of heavy metal was going on, and I was a bit of an outsider because I like to listen to the Eurythmics.
Now, did you dress? I mean, you're very beautiful with your short hair, and that is that inspired by Annie Lennox, or is that just a personal?
I think it's just a personal choice.
Choice. Okay,
but she does look good.
She does, yes, and she's a great singer. Do you sing at all?
I do not sing at all.
You sure
I
about
lip
that?
sync. That's it. Even though Canada, it doesn't happen.
I know. What is it? I mean, we're proud Canadians, and I'm the same way. I will kind of mouth the words, but I don't feel comfortable singing in front of people.
Yeah.
I don't know. If
I think we just got to try it. It's like today, right? I'm just trying this co-hosting thing.
If I was going to be a singer, I'd probably make a better sewing machine. Here's your Eurythmics, Sweet Dreams, Tri-City Radio. Tri-City Radio, 98.7 CKPM FM. Eurythmics, Sweet Dreams. Good morning, it's Rod Macbeth, the Tri-City Morning Show. Coquitlam City Councillor Bonita Zarillo is here. Now, I had this question for you. You, as Coquitlam councillors, city councillors, is it the whole area you look after, or do you all have your own little space that is yours?
Yeah, it's actually the whole city. We don't have a ward system. I don't think there's a ward system anywhere in BC, actually.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's all of Coquitlam. Every city councillor represents every constituent across the city. And
I guess you get a lot of requests. Did people phone you? Do they email? What's the form of doing this now? Does anybody write letters anymore?
The odd time you get a letter.
Yeah.
And I actually keep those. I think that's amazing. Mostly email.
Okay.
Mostly email, and then occasionally you'll get a phone call.
I forgot we've got to do something here. Dave Sheldon is with us. We got Sheldon on sports, SOS. We'll come back and talk to Councillor Bonita. I knew I was going to mess this up. Yeah, City Councillor, Coquitlam City Councillor, Bonita Zarillo.
When the National Hockey League trade deadline came and went with a whimper and I'm Dave Sheldon.
Good morning. It's 7:49. Dave Sheldon. Sheldon on Sports will run again at 12:40 this afternoon and then at 5:40 this evening. Coquitlam City Councillor Bonita Zarillo is here. Now, this is kind of interesting. You lived in England, in Newcastle.
I did, yes.
Now, you moved from Canada, from Saskatchewan to England. Was that a culture shock for you?
No McDonald's. There was no McDonald's in the 70s in Newcastle.
But I guess that would matter because as a kid, but then Saskatoon, you grew up in Saskatoon. Did they have a McDonald's there?
Every Friday, Mom would give us $5.
Yeah.
And my sister and I would go into McDonald's and we would get a hamburger and fries for the whole family for $5.
That's amazing. And it used to be where you had to have a city of 100,000 people before they would consider putting a McDonald's in, and now there's a McDonald's like a Starbucks in every corner.
Totally.
Do you still relish the McDonald's food?
I haven't been able to really enjoy McDonald's foods for quite a long time.
Yeah, it's just the taste, right? It's just like, oh.
But I totally remember this many million served or whatever.
Yeah.
I still remember that in that Saskatoon location.
That's funny. So you moved to Newcastle, and that would have been the late 70s, early 80s, and that was when the second wave of British music was kind of hitting the North Shores, and you were on like ground zero for all this cool new music before it hit over here.
Yeah, for sure. In fact, some of the music never did make its way around here.
Well, that's it. And I'm going to play this one here because it wasn't a huge song here in Canada, but it's one of the best new wave punkish songs to ever come out of there. This is Reckless Eric, Whole Wide World, Tri-City Radio. Whole wide world, that's Reckless Eric. Good morning, it's Rod Macbeth, the Tri-City Morning Show. 7:54, it is a busy morning all of a sudden. My personal assistant kind of messed up and didn't tell me I had another special guest, which is my fault. Carol Todd is here. We will talk to her in about 10 minutes or so. Right now, City Councillor Bonita Zarillo is here. The weather, City Councillor, is going to be...
rainy.
Okay, that's all we
Very
need
rainy.
to know. That's all we need to know. Here's Tame Impala, Less I Know, Tri-City Radio. That's Tame Impala, Less I Know, Tri-City Radio, 98.7 CKPM FM. City Councillor, Coquitlam City Councillor Bonita Zarillo is here. The weather girl, you said it best last break. What's it going to do today?
Rainy.
That's all we need to know. Madonna is a huge... You were in England when Madonna started getting big because that first album came out, Holiday, the first song, and you were there.
Yeah.
What was your first impression when you saw this young lady?
Cool costumes. She was very creative.
Well, her and Cyndi Lauper both, weren't they?
Yeah.
Crazy, crazy stuff. Now, Like a Prayer, what is it about this song?
Well, Like a Prayer, I used to work. I went to university in Manitoba, in Winnipeg, and I used to work at a nightclub downtown, and I used to go early so that I could play my own music and dance, and this used to be my favorite one to put on and dance around.
So it wouldn't have been the Rory Street Marble Club, would it?
It was behind the Marble Club. Was the Waterfront Network. Did you ever come by?
I don't think I was there then. Norma Jeans, if I remember correctly. Perry Miller, ex-Winnipeg Jet, Detroit Red Wing, opened up that one.
There was DeSoto's.
DeSoto, oh my goodness.
There was DeSoto, then there was Marble Club, and then Waterfront Network was more the university crowd.
Cool. And then the Marble Club turned into Wise Guys. I used to live just down the road on McDermott. There was a sandstone building. I lived on the third floor of that, and that was probably one of the coolest buildings I ever lived in.
For sure.
Yeah,
You've got some good lofts around there now, too.
Yeah. If you ever do go to Winnipeg, that is one of the things you have to take in. The culture and the nightlife is really, really good, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that was the time. All the hockey players used to go to Marble Club after the game.
Of course they did. City Councillor Bonita Zarillo. Here's Madonna, Like a Prayer, Tri-City Radio. Tri-City Radio, 98.7 CKPM FM. That's a remake of a Thomas Rhett country song. That's Nelly and Die a Happy Man. Good morning. It's 8:09. Rod Macbeth, the Tri-City Morning Show. Carol Todd is with us. Amanda Todd Legacy. How are you, Carol?
I am fine this morning.
I'm just going to get you to get a lot closer to that microphone because you're very soft-spoken. And I'm just a big old loudmouth here. And the Amanda Todd Legacy, now... It's got to be tough. I mean, still, because a beautiful young lady bullied, cyber bullied, or you have another term for that now, and gone. And as a parent, I can't imagine. I have a 9-year-old, and I can't imagine the pain you go through, and probably still on a daily basis too.
True enough. I was just thinking on my way here, reasons about how and why, and people often say, how do you do it? And it's, you know what, I don't have any answers for how I do it. I just know that I have to do it, and the reasons why, and it's to make sure that we keep families and their kids safer through, face-to-face bullying and the cyber harassment and cyber abuse that can go out there with kids and even adults, because I don't just focus on the young people. This stuff happens to adults and to our seniors also.
It does, and I mean, you brought up a point there. Senior bullying is such a very big hidden thing that people just don't realize. I mean, if you're an adult working at a business and you're bullied by somebody, there's a chance you could go and talk to somebody you work with, but as a senior, they don't have much of an outlet, do they?
No, and you know what, it sort of goes full circle too when you look at, when you're born and you become a young child and then you go into adulthood and then you go back into seniorhood. It's sort of that pendulum shifts the same way, whereas kids don't know where to go, seniors don't know where to go. So, it's up to us as the people in the middle, the functioning adults, to support both ends.
Yeah.
That's our mission.
Now, the term cyberbullying it's just, I never did like the term, but you've got something that is, you call it something else.
I call it cyber harassment, and you know what? Sometimes we call it keyboard warriors, keyboard assassination. It's things people do behind a screen, sometimes anonymously, that can hurt people and sometimes can tragically hurt people. So I think that when we talk about cyberbullying, it's a very broad definition, which is why legislation is so hard to enact and enforce. I think we have to define the different types of cyberbullying that happens, right? You've got the stuff that happens peer-to-peer, but then you have to go beyond that, just like Amanda, and she was, the new term sextorted online, asked for images and things like that, and sexting goes on. So it's very diverse now, and we have to define all those diversities for our kids.
And, as much as I love the internet, we have to keep the freedom there. So what can we do as society to get rid of creeps and that, other than, monitoring computers 24/7, which is virtually impossible? So what are some solutions?
One creep at a time.
Yeah.
I think that we have to educate our children, not only our children, but our families, into what and how how technology works. We're never going to get rid of it. I remember back, 15 years ago, some people hoped that it would just disappear, but it's not going to disappear. And sometimes when our kids do something, we are quick to take away the technology, but they'll go find it somewhere else. So the thing is to teach our children how to use it properly. You don't give a car to a 16-year-old when they turn 16 with just the keys and no lessons, right? Because that car is a dangerous tool. Well, that smartphone, that tablet, that computer is also a dangerous tool. But if you learn how to use it wisely and properly, it doesn't become as scary. It doesn't become as difficult to manipulate.
Now, your Thursday night, there's School District 43 has got an event that you're part of. What is that all about?
It's about smart media, social media, how to keep your kids safe online. And so the DPAC, the district PAC, has invited me to be one of their speakers on Thursday night. And I believe that the event, all the tickets have disappeared quickly, hoping that they'll have another event, right? But it's just to talk about how to keep your kids more safe online, and some of the things that we can do as a family to bring back, I call it the old-fashioned ways, right?
Yeah, like Sunday dinners, one of my favorite things.
Sunday dinners, popcorn night,
Yeah.
Put in a movie with a DVD, don't use it on Netflix. Go out and stare at the clouds and have family picnics, and put the technology away in a box somewhere. If you're out and about in a restaurant, leave the technology locked up in the trunk and have a dinner just without it. And you know what? It brings a breath of fresh air, actually.
It does. Now, you're going to speak at this School District 43 event. Do you know, are you in the know of whether our school district here is going to bring in courses and having people teach ways to be safe on the internet? Or they do it? Because I know that my kid's in grade 4 and they don't really do that yet, although they give them computer time, but they really don't do that yet.
Our district actually is really good. I'm a teacher in SD 43, and on the public website there is a page on digital citizenship, and there's a whole bunch of resources parents can go to for support, because I do believe that it takes a community and it takes a huge community to bring it all together. It's not just the one responsibility of a school district, but I do know that social emotional learning built in with digital citizenship is being taught at many schools, right?
Good.
And so sometimes it's that comfort level of the educator and how they're going to talk about it, but we all have to have that discussion. So
True, very true. Now, Carol Todd is with us right now, the Amanda Todd Legacy. Can we talk about the May 1st event?
sure.
Okay, what's happening then?
It's Kids Help Phone Walk so kids can talk. Kids Help Phone, Amanda Todd Legacy is an ambassador to them. They are a 24/7 helpline for kids, professionally educated counselors at the other end, and they just recently opened up a hub in downtown Vancouver for online chat, so that kids can go on their devices and actually chat with a real life counselor. And they've moved it to Vancouver on the West Coast so that there's more accessibility to kids.
That's a good thing. Now, kids might talk peer-to-peer, but to talk to a parent is tough. So we as parents have to stay involved, of course, without being pushy. Now, what's to make a kid think that these people on a chat line can help them? Like, how do you guys market towards the kids to do that? Because kids can be scared. They might think they're doing something wrong, correct? And they don't know if they should talk to anybody.
Well, I think it's all anonymous based, right? So there's no judgment. It's talking to the kids, finding out what the problem is, and then helping the child find a solution to go talk to their parents, and they'll even be that middle person if necessary. Kids need to share the things that are going on with them, because if they internalize and have no one to talk to, that brings up problems of its own, right? So sometimes it's hard to talk to your parents. I've done things in my life that my parents still don't know about, right? And parents need to realize that, think about what they were like as teenagers, and things haven't changed all that much. It's just the way our kids are growing up in the 21st century has. So
does that mean we can phone your mom and dad and say, hey, the dent was put in the car by Carol Todd, the Amanda Todd legacy? We are a pleasure to have you this morning, and my heart goes out to you for what has happened in your life and all the stuff you're doing now. Thank you for being here.
On PM FM.
It's 8:20. Good morning. A soggy one out there today, and it's going to be whitewater rafting down Thermal. Here's Cage the Elephant, Mess Around, Tri-City Radio. Tri-City Radio, 98.7 CKPM FM. That's Cage the Elephant, Mess Around. Good morning. It's Rod Macbeth, the Tri-City Morning Show. Coquitlam City Councillor Bonita Zarillo is with us, and you purchased your co-host time at an auction. You helped support the Variety, the children's charity. We were at that event. That was on February 14th over at the Hard Rock Casino. And it was a fun night, wasn't it?
It was a really fun night. And wow, what a bunch of talent.
I know, it's right? Amazing. Yeah.
It was a really good night.
And we keep going back to Annette MacArthur and the group of musicians that were there, and how good it all was. You were there with Sherry O'Neill.
Yes. And
our favorite soapy lady, Kareen. She just got back from the Oscars, I believe.
She did, and I think that might be her third. It's at least her second trip to the Oscars.
Yeah, second or third. Yeah, that's and I use this course of soap, and I actually kind of like it. I was using another kind before, and then I was told by about 5 different people, "Oh, there's too many chemicals." And I thought, well, big deal. It's just soap. And then I thought, well, wait, it's washing of my hair. The chemicals are going into my skin, and they're doing this. Okay, I better use natural soap.
Yeah, actually, there's a graphic out there in social media somewhere that we put over 100 chemicals on our body before we even leave the house in the morning.
Really?
If you shower and makeup and hairspray, now you don't have to worry about those. But
well, the makeup and the hair. I use that Final Net hairspray. That's the stuff I use. It seems to work best for me. Yes,
I didn't know they still sold Final Net.
They do, and that's like model glue. And it's funny because the reason why I know of Final Net, I do some rodeo stuff in my off time, and uses a hat stiffener. Final Net hairspray. It stiffens up that hat nicely so you can shape it the way it's got to be. So
perfect.
Now I know.
Perfect.
So not just hairspray anymore.
There you go. Multi-purpose.
Now, you grew up in England, and we are going to play another song and another English memory coming up in just a minute. Do you want to give us the weather while we get ready for this?
Yeah. Tri-City folks, take your umbrellas with you this morning. We have rainfall warnings in effect. There's going to be how much rain?
50 millimeters, 5 centimeters.
There you go. Highs of 9 today. It's 5 out there right now, and have a wonderful day.
The Share Society presents Imagine 2016, Saturday, March 9, 5105.
It's 8:26. Good morning, Rod Macbeth, Tri-City Morning Show, City Councillor Bonita Zarillo. What a very cool name. That's like a classy Bonita Zarillo.
Well, can I share with you my maiden name? Because it's
I was just
going
to ask you that. What was it?
Bonita Thompson.
Bonita Thompson.
Just doesn't have the ring, right?
No, it's just a good thing that Carlos guy found you and stalked you out there, huh?
Yeah, Carlos. Yep, that's the one.
No, I just keep bugging him. Now, you lived in England. You were there at the second wave of the British invasion. As it was leaving England and hitting the North American shores, there's a lot of music that did not make it over here because there was just so much of it. And there is one band in particular that, is huge then and still huge now. That's U2.
Yes.
Did you see them over there at all, or?
No, I can remember being in London, but it was a little bit later in the 80s. I can remember being in London one day and there was a big crowd and they ended up walking through town. But no, every time I've seen U2, it's been either in Toronto or Montreal.
Really? I actually saw U2, the Commodore Ballroom, about 1983. I got free tickets, went in, saw the band of that. Nothing special. They'll probably go away in a couple of years. And who would have thunk that they would have did what they did? Yeah. One of my favorite songs is Bad. That's off the Joshua Tree album. One of your favorite songs?
What's the one we're going to play?
I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
Oh, there we go.
It is one of your favorites. Like, I know the song, I like it, but what's the name of it? Here's U2.
I don't do well in Trivial Pursuit.
I do. Oh, let's have a challenge here with that, Dan. U2 on Tri-City Radio. Tri-City Radio, 98.7 CKPM FM. That's U2. Still haven't found what I'm looking for. Good morning. It's Rod Macbeth, the Tri-City Morning Show. Going to be soggy out there this morning and this afternoon. And we have got Coquitlam City Councillor Bonita Zarillo with us this morning. Now, we're going to talk about a couple of things before we go. The Coquitlam 125, we're going to talk about that. Kathleen Vincent and her staff up at City Hall have been doing a phenomenal job getting this organized. And then I want to talk to you about the waterfront area over behind Eagle Quest on the other side of King Ed. So Coquitlam 125, it's not every day you get to have a 125th birthday, is it?
No, isn't that exciting?
It is. You go back to the roots of Coquitlam Millardville and see how far we've come.
Yeah.
We had Emily Loney in here she's like the artifact historian.
Archives, you bet.
Archives, that's it. And she's done a fantastic job putting this stuff together. Joan McCauley, who is in here on a regular basis, it seems, talking about the events that are going on. I had...
and she's with Place des Arts. She's amazing.
Yeah. Now, this is big because we've got a lot of events happening, and I think one of the biggest ones is your communities, because we talked about Coquitlam earlier and how the Tri-Cities is like one big community, but there's like 15 different areas that you can go and just get a different feel. And what's one of the big things coming up in 125?
Yeah, for sure. Well, actually, talking about those neighborhoods, and the one of the big things is block parties.
Yeah.
We would really like to get 125 block parties out there this year. So there is some funding available if you're a community that would like to do a block party, and we'd sure like to hear from you. Yeah, I think that's going to be one of the biggest ones. If we can get 125 block parties going this year in Coquitlam, that would be amazing.
That would be. You know what would be really fun is to do all 125 in one day.
On the same day?
That would be
I'm not sure if our city staff could deliver that many barricades and things like that.
And I'm thinking of the great job the Coquitlam and Port Coquitlam RCMP do and how busy they'd be on that one day.
Exactly.
But that's fun. So Coquitlam 125, we'll have details on this on our Facebook page. We have got to take a break and play some more music in a bit. Weather. You're the weather lady today.
Oh, I'm going to do a plug for the 125. The website is coquitlam125.ca if you want to check out what's going on. It's rainy today. It's a rainfall warning in effect. Highs of 9. And is it still around 5 degrees out there this morning?
It's about 5 degrees. It's a soggy 5 degrees.
Okay, wonderful. Yep.
The
Rain.
Tri-Cities
Take your
Community
umbrella.
Calendar.
5plusgames.ca.
It is a Tuesday, a soggy Tuesday. Coquitlam City Councillor Bonita Zarillo is here. In conjunction with the Coquitlam 125, we've got the 55-plus games. They used to call them the senior games, but I guess when you get to be in your 50s and they call you a senior, somebody's going to take a round out of somebody else.
Yeah.
We're definitely not our grandfather, grandmother, and our great-grandparents' 55s and that. Now, tonight up at the pond, not the pond on Poirier, but just across the street, they have got try it before you play it thing. And tonight is floor hockey. It's going from about 2:15 till 3:15. I think they should have the city councillors against us media types. I think that would be a good one. We'll get Chris Wilson out there. I mean, he's not quite 55. I think next year he'll be 55.
No, not even close.
We talked about that. He's not close. I like bugging him. Now, the 55 plus, like 4,000 athletes coming to town.
Yeah, it's going to be big. It's going to be a very big event. We're very excited to be having it. And as you said, it's not really seniors anymore. I mean, it just isn't. I mean, we're all so much healthier and more vitality, and it's going to be a really fun time.
I know. When I turned 55, I thought, really? Where did the time go? And, I go to the gym. I try to stay in decent shape. I wake up in the morning some days and say, oh, where did that wrinkle come from? Or, oh, I lost another hair. But, we're definitely not our parents and our grandparents' 55s.
That's for sure.
So back to your days in England. Black Box, everybody. Not a well-known song over here.
No, and I'm surprised about that. But actually, they do play it in the clubs sometimes. I have heard it in the clubs a few times. But yeah, it's. I used to be a rep in the field. I used to drive a lot in the north of England, and it used to be on the radio a lot. And I always enjoyed that as I was driving along. So yeah.
Here we go. Black Box, Tri-City Radio. Tri-City Radio, 98.7 CKPM FM. It's a good thing I don't talk for a living. I tripped over a lip there. That's Black Box, everybody. Coquitlam City Councillor Bonita Zarillo is here. We were talking memories, and all of a sudden a bunch just came flooding back. You were telling me you lived in England, and it was a big thing when Top of the Pops came on. What happened?
Yeah, Top of the Pops was when you were basically doing the dishes, so you would listen to all of it. But yeah, it's just ingrained in households there. I mean, everybody's listening to the top 40 all the time.
And you were talking about Adam Ant was a big one back then.
Yeah.
And your sister decided to basically channel her inner Adam Ant?
Yes. So my sister was 3 years older than me, so she was already going to pubs at the time. And yeah, she had an awesome pirate shirt, big white, floofy, frilly pirate shirt with the striped waistcoat and the big boots, and it was really awesome.
So did you all, when you lived there, did you have your British accent, or did you still try to keep the Canadian accent?
No, actually, we had a British accent, and we actually lived up in Newcastle, which is kind of a coal mining area, which is, they have different accents there, and ours was more of the lower end accent. And I remember that my dad used to say all the time, we're going to send you to elocution lessons.
Elocution lessons.
Yeah.
That is funny.
Yeah.
One of the big memories of the music back then is a guy that was huge in England, and he had some minor hits over here, Ian Drury.
Yes.
Interesting character.
Yes, very.
Did he scare you when you first saw him?
I think, he used to be on Top of the Pops, so we all got to look at him. But yeah, I guess I was too young to really be scared by it. I was more in awe.
Indeed, awe. For those of you who don't know, Top of the Pops is the equivalent to American Bandstand, I would say, something like that. Here's Ian Dury, the Blockheads, Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick, Tri-City Radio. Tri-City Radio, 98.7 CKPM FM. Hit me with your rhythm stick. Hit me. Ian Dury and the Blockheads, City Councillor, Coquitlam City Councillor, Bonita Zarillo is here. And Top of the Pops, just a little bit of craziness. We had Bandstand over here. And then we had, I think that was about it, being a kid growing up in Canada. I don't think we had much more. Although Terry David Mulligan tried to do a few things, I don't think those really took off. In Winnipeg, remember Joey Gregorish?
No.
Oh, he had the kids show out there.
No.
Yeah, Carlo was more so, I think that's...
Growing up in Winnipeg,
yeah. And Winnipeg today is what, the temperature?
Minus 24 without the wind chill.
Without the wind chill, and we have what here today?
It's going to be 9, but it's about 5 right now with no wind chill probably.
Just a lot of rain. We were talking about music and kids, and I've had this conversation with almost everybody that's been in here, is buying your records or your first thing, and you bought 45s.
Yeah.
Now, the first 45 you bought, was it in Canada or was it in the UK?
It was in the UK, and it was in the chemist. Boots the Chemist used to sell 45.
Nice. And what was that first song?
It was Earth, Wind and Fire, September.
So you're in England, you got all this great English music, and you buy an American funk band.
Totally.
All right.
And hey, 2 seconds. It's funny, when I went to university, I got a new roommate, and I remember the first morning waking up, and she had a bunch of Motown on, and I was like, okay, we're going to get along just fine.
Excellent. Here's Earth, Wind and Fire. This is September, Tri-City Radio. Tri-City Radio, 98.7 CKPM FM. That's Earth, Wind, and Fire, September. It's 8:54. Good morning, Rod Macbeth. Coquitlam City Councillor Bonita Zarillo is here. Good morning, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You've got to be the weather person. You've got to pick some music. We've got to share some great stories. And I have a question for you, because when I head over down to United Boulevard, if I ever have to venture out of the Tri-Cities and go into the New West, I like taking that little Bailey Bridge over there.
Yes.
There's all that land that has kind of been cleared, and it looks like they're ready to start development just over across the King Ed overpass there. What's going on with that?
Yeah, well, there's an opportunity for a mixed-use community there, which means there'll basically be some retail, some residential, and potentially around it, there's some industrial uses. But it's slated to be a residential community with some really nice commercial stores and restaurants around it.
That's great. I mean, Coquitlam was built on the river, and the industrial is a very, very, very big and integral part of our community. But to open up a little bit of that area there to residential, I think, is a fantastic way to go.
Yeah, for sure. I think New West has done a fantastic job of getting people down onto the water, and it would be nice to have.
Well, it's New West at least has done one fantastic thing. I can't think of anything out of New West that's changed in the last 500 years, except they did redo Stewartson, and now they're tearing down a parking lot or something like that.
I saw that on social media, that they're taking down some multi-story parking lot.
Yeah, but
they also have the largest piece of art. No, don't they have the largest piece of public art they just installed?
Oh, they might, down at the Anvil Center, I think, yeah. But it's funny, because there was a big fight, and I don't think you were a city councillor. You were when they opened up the Bailey Bridge again, but they were fighting against Coquitlam with that Bailey Bridge. It used to be a one-lane, and it used to be a pain in the butt to go through, and the city of Coquitlam wanted to turn it into 2 lanes, and New West fought tooth and nail not to have that happen. And it was just so frustrating being a resident of Coquitlam and having to travel, because Burnett Overpass, if you take that, that's a tough go to get into New West, and to try to get over there, this Bailey Bridge was a great way to go.
And we have 2 lanes there now.
I know, and it's a good thing. And 2 lanes, no waiting.
There you go. Okay,
we're going to come back. We've got another song or two for you. Coquitlam City Councillor Bonita Zarillo was here, and we're going to play a Rod Stewart song for you. Before we go to the commercials, the weather.
The weather, rainy today, warning in effect because we have a lot of rain coming.
Yeah,
how much?
50 millimeters.
That's a lot of rain. Highs of 9 today, though. It's going to be nice weather. As far as temperature goes, it's 5 right now.
When hit happens, bring your vehicle to Coquitlam Express Autobahn.
Women's Day 2016, March 8th. Proudly supported by Tri-City Radio, 98.7 CKPM FM.
It's 8:58. Good morning. It's Rod Macbeth. Coquitlam City Councillor Bonita Zarillo has been my guest for the last almost 2 hours now.
That's right.
You and the lovely Carlo, you had a wedding, I assume, just a number of years ago.
Yeah.
And how do you pick what song you want to play for your wedding?
I don't know. I have no idea. Well, I'm sure the woman always picks it, I'm sure. Or most of the time.
Well, yeah, maybe. I think I picked one. My ex and I picked, yeah, I guess so, yeah. And there's a Rod Stewart song. Are you just a big Rod Stewart fan in general, or is it just the one song?
No, I'm a big Rod Stewart fan in general. He's awesome. I've seen him in Winnipeg multiple times.
Excellent. What is it about Broken Arrow?
I don't know. I must be just the melody. We had a very small wedding, and we had a guitar player, and he did a wonderful job of this song for us.
Well, Coquitlam City Councillor Bonita Zarillo, thank you for being here. We're going to leave you with some Rod Stewart and Broken Arrow, Tri-City Radio.